All right, welcome on board, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Always exciting to have you on board. Thank you. Welcome to the Lions Den, as always. Always a delight to be here. Let's go, people. Thank you all for joining the Lions Den. Always a delight. We'll kick up in the next 30 seconds. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. If you don't mind, slam where you're calling in from, type where you're chatting in from in the world, and also kindly just like us to get more people on board. Jump the like button and let us know where you're calling in from. Hi, everybody. Let's go, people. Hello. Long time. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Let's go, people. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Let's go. Thank you all. Thank you all. Joining on short notice. All right, let's get started. We'll start our countdown and we kick this up real quick. Thank you, everybody, for joining. As always, a delight to be here. We'll kick up in 30 seconds. Let's do a countdown and we get started. Let's go. All right, welcome to the Lions Den. Thank you all for joining. As always, a delight to be here. So, with us today, we have one of our mentors on the call. Welcome on board, Elango. How are you,
Thank you,
brother?
thank you. I'm good. I'm doing good, doing good, doing good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey, folks, it's been a while. It's been a minute. We've all connected. So, thank you all. Let's see where you all are calling in from. I can see Houston, Texas. Choma from Big D. Steven from Memphis. Teddy in the house. H Town. Let's see. Where else are we calling in from? Let's see. Another Big D. Dallas in the house. Let's see where you're calling in from. All right. Let's see. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Let's some other folks here. All right. Just go ahead and tell us. Oh, Toronto in the house. Hey, what's up? Abiola Dallas in the house. Let's go. Boston in
You,
the house. All right. UAE in the house. Hi, Shetu. New York in the house. Toronto in the house. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for making it. If you don't mind, just strike jam our like button so we have more people see what we do here. So today, in the next few minutes, are they in the house? Welcome, welcome, Toronto, Maryland, oh, Baltimore, Orville. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, thank you. One of the things we do in our community, for those of us that are familiar with us, is when our folks are preparing for interviews and they give us some heads up, we bring them to the Lions Den to get them ready. The beautiful thing about the Lions Den is, ladies and gentlemen, the statistic has been very good. Most of our folks that come to the den eventually always close the deal. Now we know we got to put the work and keep trying, yes, but it's a beautiful thing when, as a community, we come together, we support each other, and I just moderate it, right? So, as a community, I want you all, once you have a question, we give constructive feedback. Just throw the questions to Elango so that he can also, I will be showing the questions and he will see it. So, that's the drill. That's the way we're going to do it. And let's have fun together. and we want you to go bring that offer, brother. So let's go. All right, without wasting much time. So I know you have the role you're applying for is a third party risk analyst role. And we talked a little bit earlier to just get you ready. So in a few minutes now, we're going to put you on the spotlight and you tell us, walk us through your experience. And one thing I'm sure you're familiar with the environment is that on your best days, don't take it personal. You will probably get a 5 out of 10. Not because we are crazy or, erratic folks or weird folks here. The reason is that we want to force you to go put some extra 2 or 3 points or maybe 4 points to get you to nine,
Right.
just because we know the competition is crazy out there. So we want to make sure we can make you step up. Okay. So five does not mean you're horrible. Okay. Or four, but it's just a way to get you. So don't get me to start doing Dr. Phil on you that, you need psycho therapy. No. It's just our own way of getting you well grounded. Okay. So let's have fun with it. And for our community listen, folks, if you don't mind, keep asking questions. It's a third party risk role. But some of us that are, wondering what the heck is third party risk, once we're done with the training, I'll tell you a little bit about what we do. And we're a cyber platform, mentorship platform. We empower folks with the best skills out there in the world, right? We do other things like clinical research, product development, other mentors help in those space, right? But for us, we focus on the cyber space around governance, risk, and compliance. And some of our folks, like Elango, once they feel confident, they come to the forum and we just get them ready and ultimately get the job. That's what we care about at the end of the day, really. So that's what we do. So as you watch us, I know some of us are part of our inquiry community. Don't worry. If you see him say some very smart stuff, don't get intimidated. It's because he has put the work, he has put the time, and is ready. Okay. And I know in a few weeks or months, some of us will be in the same boat. Okay, and have fun with it. All right. Without wasting time, let's jump into the drill, brother. So I'm just gonna we do it. I spoke with you already, so we just have fun and do it together. Okay. All right. So I saw a resume online and I think you might be a fit for one of our roles. We are looking for a senior third party risk analyst, someone that will come in and help us with due diligence, understand our TPRM program, and give us some valuable insight into our third party risk program. So if you don't mind, Elango, walk me through your experience and what specifically you've done in the last 5 years.
Thank you, Akin, for this opportunity. I'll start by saying that overall in GLC slash third party, I've been in GLC slash third party for about 5 years plus. I do DRC, but a big part of my job is in third party as well. Kind of like for me, my day-to-day activities is helping the development team to build secure software using frameworks like ISO 27000 needs, PCI. So my role is to make sure that they are actually following secure codes and standards to
Okay.
while building these applications. Then
Excellent.
also the other part of my role is in third party, where I'm usually involved. My role there is involving from the onboarding of these vendors to the due diligence process, working with legal and procurement teams, reviewing contracts to make sure that security verbiages are well embedded in these contracts before they onboard these vendors, and as well as also the offboarding part of the third party management lifecycle. I'm also involved in that.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so Ilango, walk me through because one of our need now is that we have a TPRM program. We know there might be some gaps. From your experience, walk me through end to end of a TPRM program that you're familiar with. What are the
So
things in the TPRM? Yeah.
So the first thing, it's the process. My process in my current environment, typically when there's a need for a vendor, the vendor relationship manager reaches out to me, the third
Okay.
party risk analyst, and says, "Hey, there's this vendor that we're trying to onboard." What I'll do is that I would ask a couple of questions to the actual vendor relationship manager. Like what kind of services the vendor is going to provide in for us. Is the vendor going to have access to our data, access to our network? Then I would send the vendor to our vendor tool to go fill out those questions, or I can fill them out. Once those questions are filled, that Then the next thing is that I'm able to look at those answers based on what he has given me or based on what I've filled out. I'm able to now tier the vendor accordingly into a high, into a moderate or low. And then I will send the questions to the vendor accordingly as it as it's tiered. Also, just as a result of the part of the vendor management lifecycle, I'm also involved in contract reviews. I work hand in hand with the legal team. We have these meetings with them on a weekly basis to when we're trying to onboard a new vendor. I have to make sure that a couple of security vulnerabilities are there, like SLA, time and data breach. What's the maximum time if it is a data breach, the vendor has to report to us. Is it in 24 hours? Is it in 42 hours? Things like what services the vendor is going to be providing, what location the vendor going to be at that current time, right to audit. So basically, I have to make sure that and sit with the legal and procurement team to make sure that hey, it's not only about onboarding this vendor, it's not about this vendor being cheap, but let's also make sure that the vendor has the right controls in place before we onboard this vendor. Also, on a day-to-day basis, when the vendor, for example, is trying to get on board off-boarded off the program due to one reason or another, the vendor may not have met the SLA levels we want to. We're not happy with the vendor, probably because the vendor has probably filed a bankruptcy. We are not happy with the vendor. We want to offboard them. I'm in that process to make sure that okay, before the vendor offs board, I need to make sure that the vendor has offboarded our data securely, right? I need to make sure
Yeah.
that the vendor has policies and procedures in place when it comes to sanitization of data, when it comes to shred of data. What processes do they have in place to make sure that once they're off the contract, our data is still secured and is not prompt to attacks?
Okay, excellent. And I saw on your resume you mentioned you do third party risk assessment also. Walk me through that process when you do risk assessment for your third party. What are the steps you typically take to do that?
So from the risk assessment standpoint, what I do is I'll send out the questionnaires. Once I've checked the vendor, I'll send out the questionnaires. Pretty much like we have 6 questionnaires, but we have brought it up to very personalized way for our company because we found out that 6 questionnaires are very cumbersome. They're very cumbersome with a lot of questions. So I'll send them those questionnaires. Those questionnaires can range from administrative policies. The questionnaires can range from physical security, can range from access controls. We ask them a whole lot of questions, when it comes to, that part of the controls.
Okay. So in our environment, for example, we typically use the steps of we identify the vendor, right? We do risk categorization, our due diligence, a risk scoring process, then an ongoing monitoring process. It's part of a process around conducting third party risk assessment. Is that something you guys also consider doing within your own space?
Right. That's what we do.
Okay. So another thing I want to clarify is I want to see your thought process around this. This is a current challenge in our organization. So you have a vendor, right? And you've worked with this vendor for 3 years. Suddenly you became, a publicly traded company because you were acquired by a larger organization, right?
Okay.
And the challenge was this vendor that you've worked with for 3 years, currently they don't have a SOC 2 Type 2 report, right, for their security controls. So how would you handle that scenario or situation in if that happens with you?
So yes. So apart from the SOC 2 Type 2 reports, the other reports we could request from the vendor, like ISO, if they have any certifications, third-party certifications like ISO 27000, or if they have any certifications like any PCI compliance certifications. Also, any sort of certifications that prove that they have the controls, like I mentioned, ISO 27000 is one of them.
Okay. Okay. Would you also consider things like if they've done audits or pen testing in the past or any kind of assessment in the past? Would that be?
Right. So also other reports that like vulnerability assessment reports they have had in the past. Pen testing reports, external and internal pen testing reports. Those are some of the things that I could ask in lieu of the SOC
Okay.
2 Type 2.
Okay, got it. Now, how would you evaluate the cybersecurity posture of a vendor in general? What are some of the things you would use to evaluate their posture?
I think some of the things I'll use to evaluate their posture is that I would like to find out if the vendor, it's progressively the findings that are be given to the vendor. If the vendor continuously remediates those findings, if the
Okay.
vendor is working to remediate the findings at required. Some of the other things I'd like to know if the vendor is actually in a good shape. It's if the vendor it's actually meeting some of our SLA levels.
Yeah.
SLA levels are definitely one thing I want to make sure that the vendor is meeting. These are some of the ways that I would know that this vendor it's a vendor that we want to keep.
Okay. So, how do you communicate a third party risk finding to the appropriate stakeholders using non technical language? What's been your style?
I think when it comes to communication with third party risk findings, first of all, you know I always try to remove my technical part of my side.
Yeah.
First of all, by knowing that these people are not technical, they are just stakeholders. So first of all, breaking down these findings, to the simplest format, that they can understand. It's a way that I can achieve that goal.
Okay. All right. So, I know you mentioned, offboarding vendors in your TPRM process. How do you confirm your data is offboarded though?
So one of the ways I can confirm is that, okay, if for example the third party has like another third party that shreds the data, right? For example, data destructions, I want to ask for like a certificate to prove that that data has been actually sanitized, that data has been actually destroyed. So I'll request for a certification proving that that data has been destroyed. You know,
Okay. Okay. Got it. So, how do you prioritize your task when dealing with multiple vendors in general? What's your strategy to prioritize tasks around that?
I think when it comes to prioritization, depending on the vendor and the criticality of the vendor, that is how I definitely prioritize, because all vendors are not the same. That is why we do have categorizations for
Okay.
from a tier one, tier two, and tier three.
Got it. All right. So, can you describe a time when you identified a significant risk with a third party vendor? And how did you handle it? What are some of the key steps you took to handle those situations?
I just worked on a project where I just did an assessment of recent a few days ago, where there was actually this vendor that I discovered a finding. I based on my when I did my assessment, it was a vulnerability finding. Actually, that and it was a critical finding. Was a critical finding. They said that they do remediate. They do remediate vulnerability so often. So what happened was that when I requested for evidence, there was a pushback. The vendor was not giving me all the information I needed. Right. So what that was a finding that was very critical, because if that finding was not remediated, it could have caused
Yeah.
potential harm to the business overall. So what I did was that after the vendor pushed back, not giving me enough evidence to show that that critical vulnerability was remediated, I actually now had to reach out to the vendor relationship manager, then saying that, hey, this vendor is pushing back on evidence that I'm requiring for this critical vulnerability that I found. And
Okay.
the vendor relationship manager now had to reach out to the vendor relationship point of contact to discuss about this matter.
Okay. So, what are some ways we can, recommend, or what are three areas you can recommend to secure data within your vendor space? What would you recommend in terms of data security?
I think when it comes to recommendations, I think that one way I can recommend to the vendor, depending on how they want to sanitize the data, I think destruction is one. If the vendor has any hard disk that data has been stored there, destruction of that hard disk is one. And I think that also the best is sanitization, because once you sanitize the data, it's very
Yeah.
difficult for an attacker to to get that data.
Okay, got it. All right. What about in terms of continuous monitoring of your third-party vendors? Do you use any tools, or how do you track them for compliance over time?
So in terms of continuous monitoring, one way I do that is that I do weekly corrective weekly calls when it comes to corrective action plans. The finding that the vendor has, I gave them during the assessment. I do weekly
Yeah.
calls with them to follow up on their weekly milestones and their progresses, how they are doing. That's one way to continue to monitor the vendor. Also, for all our critical vendors, we do a yearly assessment, and
Okay.
medium and low we do every 2 years.
All right. So, in general, how do you stay updated with all the emerging trends in terms of third-party risk? And if you were to choose the top trends, what would be your top two right now?
I think how to stay updated. One way I stay updated with third party risks and regulatory changes. It's one of I follow one of these a well-known vendor page on YouTube called Venminder. It's an organization. Venminder is one of them I follow. They have a lot of updates on third party. Then also I do have a lot of connections on LinkedIn who are actually in the same line of business I am, third party risk management, that posts from time to time things that happen in the third party management industry. Um, and also just reading blogs about third party risk management on Google searches.
Okay.
So
Excellent. Excellent. So, I see some of the recommended ones, Venminder, Prevalent. We have True Ups also. These are some good ones we've seen. Okay. All right. Can you describe a conflict within your team and how did you resolve it in general?
I think when it comes to conflicts, I've actually been in one conflict with a team member that we never agreed on certain evidences that a vendor was supposed to provide. The my colleague did not agree with my final submissions and review my escalation to the vendor relationship manager. He did not agree with that, me escalating that actual vendor. So what I did was that I stayed professional. I did not get into an argument with him. So I had to ping my boss. I had to reach out to my boss on Teams and say, "Hey, John, this is what is going on. After doing a peer review with one of our colleagues, he doesn't agree with this finding that I escalated to you. Can you jump into this call and we'll discuss about this?" I think I lost you. I can't. I think I lost you.
Oh, sorry
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
that.
Go ahead. Yes.
All right. So, what would you say if you could make one change to the world of third party risk? What would that change be?
Well, if I could make one change to the world of third party, I think third party it's going to be it's going to be ownership. I think third parties have to take this third party thing. They have to more own it to themselves, because one of the greatest things I'm seeing with third parties or vendors overall is that there is a lot of pushback when it comes to them. Now, I don't know if it's that they do not have the evidences that are being requested, but taking ownership and knowing that there is a risk involved,
Hmm,
if you don't have the controls, would
got
be
it.
a huge step for them.
Got it. Okay, excellent. Do you have any questions for us, Ilango?
I think when it comes to questions, I do have a couple of questions which I want to ask you now. What are some of the difficulties in this third-party risk management program that you guys are currently facing right now at the moment?
I think our biggest concern at the moment internally is the fact that a lot of AI tools are currently used, and we want to know how our third party vendors are using it and how our data is secured with all the new AI light language models. So it's a big concern for us because we are obligated to follow the EU Act and the Act in North America. So it's a big concern for us at the moment.
Okay. Okay. So the role itself, does the role offer any sort of training? As you get into the role, do
So
you any kind of training at all?
so this is the senior analyst role. So we expect the person to be a self-starter.
Okay.
However, there are some tools we will train our folks in on how to use our tool, like OneTrust or any of our tools out there. We would have to train you to use them. But we expect the senior third-party risk analyst to be a self-starter.
Okay. I think my last question is the overall TPRM program. Where do you see this program? Where do you see the program go? Where do you what's your goal? Where do you want to see this program in the next 5, 6 years from now? How mature do you want to see it?
Well, we want to make sure in real time, and we're integrating some AI model also. In real time, we can see changes in regulation that impact any of our third-party vendors, especially the tier one vendors. We can immediately trigger if there's a risk point. There should be a trigger based on AI mechanism. If there's any public information about breach or any bad press, the tool would automatically inform us to either review the risk ranking of those vendors or follow up with those. So we want things to happen in real time for us.
Okay. Okay. I think those are all my questions I had for now.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. All right, all right, all right. Excellent. Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's get some feedback. All right, this is one I think you and I spoke about before we started. Somebody noticed it. Please take the word I think out. Okay, I love that. Thank you, Funke. That is very important. And I think, yeah, let's make sure we take the word. We have to take ownership of, of your craft. Let's see some other feedback. Let's see. Let's see some other feedback. Then I'll give you mine too. Let's see. All right. Anyone else? Feel free. Throw in your feedback. Don't forget to jam the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Just go ahead and like so that we can have more of our folks see this. This is great stuff, guys, ladies. All right. Let's see. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, my initial take was I thought you held your ground. I thought you had a lot of knowledge. Now I want us to put more use cases. Um, I like that. Somebody said good experience, but please read more on it and watch webinars. I like that. That's a good point. So, and this is for all of us as a community. Keep learning, keep watching webinars, be part of our community. Keep learning, keep attending conferences if you have the capacity to. And those are the ways you can get yourself very comfortable. All right. You also said very excellent interview. Somebody said use the approach. And this is for all of us, really. Always in your mind, think from what is the situation, task, action, result. Let's say you forget star. Think what was the problem? What was the solution? PS. That's it. So there was a problem. How did you provide solution? That's it, right? Let's say you forget the star. There was a problem because people are paying us to solve problems, right? So that's good. All right, let's see another one. Do more ownership of all your experiences. I like that. So take ownership of your experience. This is your show. Own it, right? All right, this from one of our Godfather, Dolly P in the house. This Godfathers there. Love is confident, but make a couple of responsible scenario based. Okay, that's a good one. So take ownership, make it scenario. Just say, one of my projects is what I did. Just be more specific. So that's a good one. Thank you, Dolly P. Let's see, Omoye, good one. Do more ownership of all your experiences. That's a good point. Um, asking for training. Okay, somebody said asking for training a potential role is not a good question. Um, yeah, I mean, so because it's an experience role, I would agree that we will not ask that because somebody can easily it can trigger somebody to think, oh, is he experienced enough that he's thinking of training? Now we all know. you'll be trained on tools, right? We know on processes of the organization, we need to still learn their process, right? But I'm not teaching you to be a third party risk analyst. The assumption is that I'm hiring you to be a third party risk analyst, right? So that's the assumption. So that's the way we're going to kind of approach it because we're already, that's the selling point. That I'm bringing you in because you are a very good third party risk analyst, right? That's the goal, All right, let's another one here. Use more, you know now this is for everybody. So sometimes the way you kind of tell a story, never forget that, just tell a story, keep it casual. One of my clients, this is what we did. One of my project, this is what we did. Now, one thing we did not sneak in well, which is important, is sneak in qualitative or quantitative values. Tell me it reduced our remediation by 20%, reduced our defect rate by X amount, reduced any kind of compliance issue by X amount, made us more, our risk assessment more efficient by X, kind of put some values or numbers to kind of showcase your story because that makes you close to the process. It shows that you are really engaged in that process. Okay. All right, let's another one. Reduce the filler words. And this for everybody, I know most of us still, it's part of our DNA. Yeah, I get it. At the end of the day, try and be very intentional about it. Think about it a little bit more, and you'll be surprised how much you reduce it. I thought I got over it, but anytime I go to edit my recordings, I click on remove the word fillers, and it's still always reduced for me. So I'm also guilty. So the point is that make sure you're intentional to reduce it. Most of us will still have a little bit of it, but be very intentional, and you're surprised how much you eliminate it or it gets fewer because you know about it in your mind already. Okay, let's another one. Personalize and own your thoughts. Yeah, I think we talked about that. That's a good one. Okay, let's another one. Reduce the feelers. Easy to understand. Good job. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Okay. This is a good one. Teddy said, better question will be if there's a room for professional development instead of asking about training. Okay, that's a good point. So we can use that, instead. That is, room for professional development. And the reason that's a good question is some organizations just don't believe in training. It's crazy and weird. So
Hmm.
people just don't care. It's not in their DNA of the culture of the business. So sometimes you want to know, do they have a culture of developing their team? For example, now I expect anyone in GRC space, third party, data privacy, data governance, you should be learning about the implication of AI in your craft. If you are doing data classification, AI, if you are doing data privacy impact assessment, how does AI fit in third party risk? How does AI fit in our GRC tools? How does AI fit in generating questionnaires? How does AI? Because the reality is that those are things AIs are doing now. So if you have any solution, actually we have, and you guys will see it next week. I'm going to send a document out AIGRC in our community because that's the world really right now. Everything we do is integrating with AI big time. Even your questionnaires for your vendors, nobody's building it from scratch because those AI tools is going to be better than you and I anyway, you know, and they would not make mistake. It's creepy, but it's the reality, really. All right, let's another one. Okay. Okay, I like this, and this for everybody. So most of the times on team, yeah. Okay, so be ready, everybody, right? So this is for everybody, right? So be very, be in your best game. Smile. I know somebody will tell me I'm an introvert. I don't like to smile. Pretend to like to smile on this one, okay? Smile because think about it. Most people really. There's a statistic that came out, I think, last week or so. Most people hire you because they like you. That's the reality of it. It's nothing. Many times, it's not really the skill because some of these skills are not really anything rocket science. If you're intelligent enough, we can teach you a lot of things. You figure stuff out with all these AI tools. You figure stuff out. I want to hire you because I like you too. Because I'm going to be listening to you. I'm going to be talking to you. I better like you. It's going to be a long time. We'll be working together, hopefully, right? So, so make sure you're in your best game in terms of personality, because like somebody said, they might start by asking you about your hobby. Yeah, It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Just whatever your hobby is, make sure you like cat and dogs too, okay? All right. Oh, man, if you're in North America, make sure you do, right? Okay, let's another one. All right, you go for the confidence part down, but be relatable and your answer and behavior. Okay, I like that. So, okay, this is a good one from Oyin. Thank you, Oyin. Let your confidence part down, yes, and be relatable with your answers and behavior. That's very true. All right. Okay, good, 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 good. Any other question, folks? Excellent. Let's give some love to look, man, folks. It's not
Mm.
always easy to be in the Lions Den. So oh my God. Okay. Let me see. Somebody said this. I like this. Okay, let's see. Let's see this one. If they brag about us, we have to talk about it. That's good. All right, so, I had an interview yesterday, and I had also meet with the Cisco and security team taking this class. Helped me explain data at rest and data in transit. A lot of third-party risk questions. Excellent. And
Mm.
folks, we know at the end of the day, folks, all we can do is to prepare our team, right, to enhance our chance. We're not of the illusion anything is automatic. We got to put the work, right? I mean, this my brother put a lot of work, study, put some skills and before you jump there. And don't worry, folks, always come to the Lions then. Don't worry, before you come, we would always talk. I would have prepared you a little bit, tell you what to expect. Would have so before he came on board, we kind of toggled a little bit some interview. I asked him some questions. Hey, are you ready? Because when you come to our platform, it's a reflection on just not you, but on us, right? So we want to make sure we do a good job to prepare you to come to the public space and
Wish you the
showcase yourself.
best.
So let's another one. Good job. Somebody says it's not easy, but you did great.
Mm.
Uche, I'm not going to post that one, but I hear you. I see you. Oh my God. Okay, excellent job. Thank you so much, folks. Let's give him some love, man. It's. I always respect when somebody take that big, bold step, really. And I challenge you always take that step because what happens is that it forces you to prepare. It elevates your game. You win, really. We all win together because you elevate your game, you build your confidence, and that's it. Let's see. Somebody said, yes, as a AI governance question during interview too. Oh, here we go. So that's one area community. You'll see me send some document. I think early next week or so. It's mostly going to show AI GRC in different space, data privacy, data governance, third party risk, just some integration of AI that we've seen some use cases. Just kind of read through them briefly. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother. Let's give some love. Thank you, brother. All right. The final thing I will do before we wrap up, I know a lot of us have asked me about the upcoming GRC class, and I'll just quickly talk about it real quick. And it will be straight to the point, just to kind of give you an overview of what the program is about. A lot of you have asked me, okay, what the heck is this GRC about? Thank you so much, Elango. I'll catch up with you later. You're awesome, brother. All right. So the beautiful thing is that Elango was part of our program. So for most of you that are new to our community, you've asked me, okay, what do you expect to see? Don't overthink it or stretch yourself. Really, the key is preparation. Nothing we are doing is special. Let's be honest. I wish I could tell you, oh, it's the special, the best thing after bread and butter. It's not really. It's just hard work, focus, consistency. There's no distraction. We're not playing games. It's not a get rich scheme. You got to put the work, the discipline, the time, and focus. But the good thing is that when we do that, you'll be like a Lango and even better many times because you'll realize that you would have been prepared. We work hard a lot. So our program is 5 weeks. We cover things like GRC analyst, third party risk analyst, data privacy, data governance, PIPEDA, data privacy impact assessment. We go so deep. AI. Now we're going to be covering the AI audit and assessment, GDPR, CCPA. So it's quite a lot of regulation, really. At times, I say, oh boy, now I've added some more stuff. I think I'm adding too much. I'm getting scared. Okay, we might push the class longer, maybe, but that's a different conversation. But so much great stuff really available right now that we are preparing our team for. The program is 5 weeks. Let me just quickly just some of you have asked me some questions. Duration of the program, 5 weeks. The meeting 3 times a week on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. On Saturdays will be 2 to 4:30 Central Time. Sunday 2 to 4:30 Central Time. Wednesdays 8 to 9:30 Central Time. We have payment plan. Yes, we do. We have option of Affirm. We have option of PayPal. So different option out there that you can. Sorry, not PayPal. Um, other you know other payment gateways are available there, but not PayPal. So you can always check that. You can pay twice or three times. The options are there available also for anyone that wants to do that. Do you need IT background to do it? Now, here's the deal. The beautiful thing is that you don't need IT background, but we have a program dedicated that will take you just a day to review, and you will be very comfortable on the base foundation you need. Now, don't forget, gone are the days we're out saying, oh, I need IT core knowledge. No, you don't have to be a programmer to get into a field like this. That's not needed, really. But the baseline we give you will give you the comfort level to execute and do very well. Next week, we'll do information session so you can invite other people. We'll bring some of our alumni. I know sometimes some of you have asked me. Now, I can't explain it. The last 2 months has been, that's it, 3 months now, has been exceptional for our community. Some of you have seen it. We've had 18 offers. And some people will say, well, are they making up these offers? Yeah, my Lions Den community would agree that virtually every other day, we're adding somebody to that group. The War Room community is where we support people. We just bring you in once you get a job. We bring you in so that if you have questions, if you want to meet other professionals, we meet each other, right? So it's always active because we're always adding somebody new, right? So these are not made up story. Now, like anything else, 3 months, 18 people, we'll take that. Now, it's not always going to be like that, right? Because some people are telling me because of election, maybe because of the constant cyber attack we've been seeing recently, maybe that's why. Whatever the reason, I'll take it, right? It's a good data point for us, right? But we don't shortchange the process. It's work, it's focus, it's discipline. And, you know, hard work is good work. So we don't have a problem with that at all. Does this the way of with mock interviews, interview scenario? Yes, this is what we do. This is, if you have an interview coming, I'll bring you to the war room. Many times, some of you might tell me, I don't have time to come to war room because my interview is tomorrow. No problem. Text me the job description. I'll simulate real quick some things to prepare for. We send it to you. Does this role require meeting? And that's why our community is very driven by communal. So you would work a lot as a team so that you simulate those real life environment. None of my team this year so far, only one person's contract ended. So nobody has been fired yet. And guys, let's keep the momentum, okay? It's a good problem. Do you support when you get the job? Absolutely. That's what we try for, really. Not because we like you necessarily, but because your success is a reflection of us. We want you to be successful and put the work. We don't no shortcut there, right? This is what the payment plan looks like in general. Just go to the website, straight to the point. First payment it's 30 days incremental. Just select it. Then you can go to Affirm, Cash App, whatever option you want to put there. But the payment option is straightforward also. And this is the breakdown of the class. Kicks off October 5th, and we wrap up November 6th. This is the beautiful part of it for my folks that are new. The goal is we get our guys ready to cash in into the last end hiring. A lot of people have budget and they want to just wrap it up before the end of the year, or else they will not be able to carry it over, or else next year they will probably reduce their budget because they didn't spend what they have. So people quickly just try to, you know, take advantage of that last quarter. So we're going to take advantage of that. Even if we don't sneak into the fourth quarter hiring wrap up, the nice thing is that we can go to the next year with a big bang and say, okay, yeah, we have the skill. January, first quarter, we're getting in all crazy in, right? So, whatever our strategy is, I would love you to leverage the last quarter preferably. But even if we don't leverage the fourth quarter, we can take advantage of the first quarter of 2025. So, that's the beautiful piece of it, really. So, but this is what the program looks like. What are the rules you can apply to? Now, this is what I've seen. Now, we have a rule of thumb in our community, and that is for any one of us, if you see a role, whatever the title is not relevant, if 50% of what is there is similar to what we've learned, apply. Because many times people change the titles, so we don't really look at titles. Yeah, the standard one, third party, GRC, IT risk. But sometimes I've seen process analyst, security auditor, compliance analyst, AI compliance. I've seen different buzzwords. It doesn't matter if the content, the responsibilities are similar to what we've done, apply. That's the way we kind of play around that. Okay. So and we've seen different titles. Honestly, I've lost count of people's title, but I don't care. Mine is if the responsibility are things we can do and we can brainstorm as a community to support you. Let's go all in. So these are some of the roles out there. And that's it really. I mean, and I'll just quickly show you the for some of you that have asked me this all the time, what's the this website. Just go to academy.skillway.com, very straightforward, or you can go to skillway from there directly also. That is also possible. And you just go to the this is the first class here, GRC analyst here. We come there, and this is the big one. People ask me, well, this is where you select the payment option. These are the 3 year. You can choose any one of them. Then if you choose anyone, when you go to the purchase page easily, you can easily see the options here also. So we have options you can select from. Yeah, you can see cash up. So whatever your options are, it's always available for everyone. Make sure you use the coupon code we have. There's a coupon code I believe we shared with the community. Let me see if I can show you real quick the code. Make sure you take advantage of that code before you register, or else it will be. Don't call me later and say, "Well, you had, you learned there was a code." But it was late. It's available now. Make sure you use that code before you register, or else it gets a bit more complex to start taking it off for you. But it's very simple. I think the code is, I'll tell you right now what the code is again. Okay, it's YGBR. Let me show you the code real quick. And so go to the Abbey coupon here. This is the code for the 10%. Always just click apply and it will kick in immediately. And that's it. And we look forward to mentoring and guiding and supporting you. As always, it's always a delight. Let's work together, put the work. One more thing before we wrap this up. Please, for everybody, always go to skillway.com. Let me show you guys real quick. We have tons of resources here, ladies and gentlemen. This is very, very important. On this page here, resources, go to the free ebooks. This is amazing tons of materials we put together for us. Cloud security checklist. Now you might ask me why this one's very different, because we eliminated the noise, distraction. These are things that we know from execution point of view that you would need. So it makes it much more easy, robust. Instead of figuring out excuse me, what to prompt, it gets you directly to the relevant things. So take advantage of it and make sure you go into it. And for some of you that want to review your resume, even if you're not part of our community already, just go. Thank you, Blessing. I can see Blessing enrolled. Yeah, awesome. Blessing just enrolled. Um, just go to resume review here, and we have a team dedicated just to help you to review your resumes. So make sure you take advantage of it also, and just keep having fun. Keep doing great things. More to come. Next week will be an exciting one. We're going to have some community event. I'm bringing a friend of mine. If not next week, the upper week is the CIO of a big community bank in Texas, and he'll be talking with us. He has some exciting look, folks. You'll be surprised when some of you tell me about certification. You see why. A CIO, the top dog of a big organization. Guess what? He doesn't even have a degree. You need to be on that call. All right, I'll see you guys. Amazing, amazing session to come. And just keep doing great things, folks. If you have questions, always ping us. And always remember, impossible is nothing. Please jam the like button, everybody, if you don't mind. And let's hear our flagship song before we go. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all for taking the time on a Friday. Let's go, folks. Thank you, everybody.
From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skillway Academy, break down the walls. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the boardroom, let your light shine, shine. Skillway Academy, it's your time. Oh, 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 oh. Feel the drums pulsating, the energy so strong. Join the movement where dreams belong. From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skillweight Academy, break down the walls. In the heart of Africa, a flame ignites, a rhythm so vibrant, it sets minds alight. Skillweight Academy,